environmental laws, including by fabricating data to feign compliance with those laws, deserve punishment and will be held criminally accountable, as said the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's acting enforcement chief Jeffrey Hall. Sign up for our daily first shift morning newscast email for a quick video to start your day. Toyota declined to comment, and Hino did not respond immediately to a request for comment. In January, Hino said it would plead guilty over excess engine emissions in more than 105,000 US vehicles in the United States from 2010 through 2022. In this episode of the Ally All Ears podcast, Aaron Lee, Senior Director at Ally Dealership Insurance, discusses the growing threat of cyber attacks on dealerships and the importance of staying vigilant. He shares essential tips for safeguarding against these risks and highlights the need for specialized cyber insurance coverage to protect your business. A company commission panel said in 2022 Hino had falsified emissions data on some engines going back to at least 2003. The settlement includes a mitigation program, valued at $155 million, to offset excess air emissions from the violations by replacing marine and locomotive engines, and a recall program, valued at $144.2 million, to fix engines in 2017 to 2019 heavy-duty trucks, the EPA said earlier. Hino admitted that between 2010 and 2019, it used illicit shortcuts and submitted false applications for engine certification approvals and altered emission test data, conducted tests improperly and fabricated data without conducting any underlying tests. Hino President Satoshi Ojizo said in January the company had improved its internal culture, oversight, and compliance practices. Hino said in January it booked an extraordinary loss of 230 billion yen, or about $1.54 billion, in its second quarter results in October to cover the expected litigation costs. Over the last decade, several automakers admitted to selling vehicles with excess diesel emissions. Volkswagen paid more than $20 billion in fines, penalties, and settlements after it admitted in 2015 it had cheated emissions tests by installing a defeat devices and sophisticated software in nearly 11 million vehicles globally. Title: Stellantis Chairman John Elkann says auto industry does not need defense to survive. Content: Stellantis Chairman John Elkann says Europe's automakers do not need the defense industry to survive, after some governments called on automakers to contribute to a defense push. China and the US have an important war industry and an important auto industry, Elkann said during a parliamentary hearing in Rome on March 20th. We do not believe it's a choice between the war industry or the auto industry. It's possible to have two industries as strong as the ones they have. Elkann, who is running Stellantis on an interim basis following the ouster of former CEO Carlos Tavares, is focusing on ways to bolster Italian car production after a dramatic slump in local output last year due to lower electric vehicle demand. Wrong price decisions and gaps in the product lineup. Meanwhile, European countries such as Germany are increasing defense spending, prompting several suppliers to consider opportunities with the military. German supplier Schaeffler is looking for defense industry partners to expand sales. Volkswagen, Europe's biggest automaker, is also eyeing a defense role. Elkann is under pressure to find a new CEO who can turn around the struggling automaker. Stellantis faces tariff risks in the US, where its Jeep, Chrysler, Ram, and Dodge brands are not selling as well as expected. In this episode of the Ally All Ears podcast, Aaron Lee, Senior Director at Ally Dealership Insurance, discusses the growing threat of cyber attacks on dealerships and the importance of staying vigilant. He shares essential tips for safeguarding against these risks and highlights the need for specialized cyber insurance coverage to protect your business. The group's high-end Italian brands Maserati and Alfa Romeo have also lost ground to competitors and are in need of a turnaround. The Italian Parliament hearing marked a key moment in Elkann's efforts to rebuild ties with Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's government after relations soured under Tavares. The former CEO moved production and engineering jobs to lower-cost countries and pushed suppliers to invest in nations such as Morocco, which sparked the anger of Italian politicians and labor unions. Elkann reaffirmed a pledge to invest €2 billion, $2.2 billion, in Italy this year and a commitment to have €6 billion